Good evening, everyone. It's very good to have everyone here. The number of participants, six already in the first 5 minutes is impressive already. Thank you for joining in tonight. And as we all know, this is the third episode on a topic that we've been on for the past 2 weeks now. We had like a short break last week, Friday, so we were not able to do the episode 3 last week. But here we are again on the topic of raising African kids in diaspora. Today on episode 3, we are going to be talking about it is how visible it is to be able to help children to adapt to a new culture. And when we are talking about adaptation into a new culture, we are specifically talking on the topic of language. For for some of us, I don't know if it's everyone here that is in Germany. Germany being a country where our first language in Nigeria is English language, yes. And Germany is a country where to survive, you gotta learn this language, the German language, I say. And it's not just about Germany. We're not just here for people in Germany, generally for the people who also are in countries where they need to learn a new language. So we're going to be hitting on three specific points, and that is the impact of language barriers and accent. We're going to also be talking about encouraging multilingualism without having to overwhelm the child. And we're also talking about tips and free or low-cost resources to be able to support bilingual language development and fluency. With me today, drum roll. I have Morolake with me. My children call her Mrs. Mo. I call her Ginger. I'm sure every other person that knows I also have a name for her. She's a loaded human being on this topic, and trust me, she's the best one that we have. And I'm sure that she's going to deliver to his peak tonight. So, before I hand over the mic to her, a brief introduction about myself. I'm sure everyone on this platform right now, the six of us, you know me. Hopefully, you don't know me as a very troublesome person because trust me, I'm gentle. So yeah, my name is Lola. I'm a mom of two. I live in Germany. I work as well here in Germany. And yes, I do a lot of other things apart from being a mom and also working. Yeah, I think that should do as an introduction for me. So I don't take the spotlight from our speaker. So I'll hand over the mic to Mo. Please introduce yourself in details because if you don't do it, I will do it for you. Tell us what you do, where you work, the country you are in, and what you'll be doing for us today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, great.
perfectly. Yes.
Great, great. Thank you so much for having me. I count it a privilege to be able to share in this community. It's a great passion for me to help Africans, Nigerians in diaspora thrive and raise them, help them raise children that are also thriving. My name is Morolake Ujola. I'm based here in Germany. I've been in Germany since 2018. I did my master's degree here. Like she said, like Dami said, people call me, my young learners call me Miss Mo, but that's because I have several expressions. I'm an author. I have written two books. There's another one coming out, two or three books. There's another one coming out very soon for kids. I yeah, I have a YouTube channel for children where I help to share values and teach children values. I've always worked with children. I've been working with children for over a decade on and off. But in 2020, I started working with children full time. And then recently, I started working in a private, in an international bilingual school here in Frankfurt, Germany. My journey into this topic started with my son, and he struggled with speaking and generally speech delay and all those kind of challenges. As a result, I started to do a lot of research and dig deep into this topic. I really wanted to understand what is it about this issue. Why are we as Africans and Nigerians or people in diaspora struggling with this? So this is why it's a topic that is really close to my heart, and I'm hoping that I can share my reflections, and we learn together on this topic. Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, the topic for before me is helping children adapt to a new culture, and I hope to just, like I said, share my reflections and share my thoughts on the topic.
Thank you so much. So getting right into the topic, so we don't take much time. So we are basically going to be speaking on language and how how easy or difficult it is for kids to be able to adapt into the society with all this, with the language barrier that seem to be eminent, that we know that happens. So, like we know that language is not only a tool for communication, right? It's like a bridge that it connects to our history, it connects to our values, it connects to our sense of belonging. So when on our first on the first point that was raised earlier, when you talk about identity, right? And identity, what will you say in your view that is the role of identity in a child's language development, right? And how do you think that language shapes the way that children see themselves and the way that they relate with the world? You work as an educator, right? And you have experience with these things. You have children that maybe are in your class and don't. You live in Germany, so I'm going to talk in the scope of somebody that lives in Germany is supposed to understand the German language. We're talking about German language now. So you probably have kids, like you said, you started learning about this topic because of your son. Your son was born here, doesn't have the knowledge of German because you don't have the knowledge of German, like Oak German, if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get what
yeah,
I mean.
yeah.
So he had to go to school to meet German kids that their mode of communication in the house is German. He probably has German teachers that expect him also to communicate the same way that the German kids are communicating. How do you feel like he was able to navigate the fact that it was just thrown in my head. It's like the child was thrown into the lion's den. He came with an identity from where he's from because you guys speak a different language that he probably was is able to communicate 100% with you guys at home. And then this is another identity that he has to relate with. This is like two cultures, right? What do you think that the role of an identity in a child's language development, and how do you think the language kind of shapes the children to see themselves and to be able to relate with the world?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I would like to take you back a bit before I come to that question. The topic says that helping children adapt to a new culture.
Mm,
And I think the underlying word here is children, not adults. Now, we're talking about
yeah.
developing brains, we're talking about malleable brains, we're talking about science tells us that between the age of 0 to 5, our children's brains, that is the best time that they develop. That's what science. And today I really want us to lean into science and have conversation based on science and based on facts and based on experiences of people that are that have gone ahead of us. Science says that that is the most important time of when the most important period in a child's life. And I'm sure that you notice those who want to learn football, do they learn it at 13, 14? When do they start? They start at 2, 3, 4. They start talking to them about football, everything football, football. We are the ones that actually think that, oh, our children are too overwhelmed, oh, they will not be able to, they will not, they are too, wow, let's not stress them too much. No. Science tells us that that is the best time to raise children. That is the best time to shape their brain, open them up, open the pathways to learn as many languages as possible. I share your sentiment because that was what I also thought when I had my child. No, no, I don't want to overwhelm him. I want to teach him Yoruba. I want to teach him English. No, it's too much. It's too much. No. It's not too much. Those are some of the myths that I hope to be able to demystify today. It's not too much because it has been proven that over the years, that period opened the pathways. We are not saying that,
I wrote her this thing.
yeah,
I replied her this thing. I was like, some people they will
please
come
could
because
you
somebody
help
was
me
telling her that
mute?
Sorry about
Okay, no problem. So that period is a time where you open up their pathways, their minds to as many languages as possible. I'm going to give you a practical example. I have 2 to 3 year olds in my class, and we're speaking to them both in English and German. It's a bilingual school. They are hearing German at the same time they are hearing English. There is a reason why we do that. Look, we have children coming into the school who are from Ukraine, who don't know a word of English, German. They only know Macedonian. They only know Ukrainian language. They only know whatever it is language, they're Turkish. By the time they are leaving the school, they are correcting us in German. They are telling us, no, that's not how to, that is nine. They are correcting us that no, you're saying it the wrong way. And that's to tell you what can happen between that 0 to 5. The problem we have that I have observed as Africans, the problem we have is that growing up, our parents told us that, and unfortunately you can't blame them, the colonizers told us that English is the most superior language. And so at some point we lost track of learning our own language. And that is the worst thing that anybody can do to you, to take away your language. Because they know in that language there's so much encoded in it. Those of us that still have a little bit of Yoruba or Igbo or Hausa left, we know that there are certain things that we want to say that it is only so sweet in our language. Do you understand? So that is the damage that it does. And look, let me tell you how it affects us. There's so many things that we want to say. For somebody like me, my parents really, you dare not speak English, Yoruba, or any other language apart from English. It has to be Queen's English. It has to be articulate. I grew up in Lagos, so we're competing with people. We're going to private schools. We wanted to go to Queen's College. We wanted to go to Pampers, all those kind of private, that kind of environment. And then when my cousins come from my hometown, then we start correcting them and we start showing them, thinking that we are the ones that are the most superior. Meanwhile, we are already losing something. Now, there's so many words that we want to say. There's so many things that we want to say. But because we are not lacking depth in our own language, we find it difficult to then train our own children. Because if we say that you want to talk to your child in one language, do you understand? At some point, I don't know if it has happened to you, you get stuck. You as the person, as the main speaker, you don't have a lot of those words. Well, I will not say a lot of us, 70% of us, do not have a lot of those words, those rich vocabulary in our language. So if you're not able to speak your language all through the day, how then do you want to teach your own child that same language? That is where we start having problems. Look at the Asians. Look at the Indians. They don't their language, their first language is Chinese. So even if you go to your home country, there's no question about, oh, should we learn? Is it English? You'll be speaking with your cousins when you get home. There's no question. So it is easier for them because even back home, when they go home, there's just one language we're going to speak. We might have different dialects, but we have a major language. We have honored and we are treasured and we are preserved our language. So I believe that is a major problem that we are having as it relates to language and connecting with identity. I'll come back to that identity question, but I just wanted to highlight these challenges. And so when that challenge is there, when we go for meetings, when we have new children who are we ask them, what's the major language that you speak at home? When you say English, say okay, except you are American. Because even the English that we speak is come and go and go on. It's not the British original. It is the adulterated passed down. I want to come and go and don't. That's wrong. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's already a problem. That's why I say it is deeply rooted. It's something that is cultural, that is cultural. Do you understand? So already we have that problem. We as the adults, we as the parents, we're trying to determine which one is which already. And then unknowingly, we pass on that confusion to our children. I have a 2-year-old in my class, or that I've worked with. I've moved to another class that I've worked with. The parents speak Arabic, they speak English, and they speak German to her. All the three at the same time. Guess what? She has a preferred one that she responds. This is a 2-year-old. She has a preferred one that she responds to per time. Sometimes it's English over a period of time. Sometimes she switches to German, but she understands everything. What they are trying to do is to put in as many words into her brain. They don't expect her to speak. They don't expect her to respond. Of course, she's a 2-year-old. She will not speak. But what they are trying to do is to open her brain, put pathways. That's what it's called. Open that brain up so that the child knows that, oh, there's a different kind of language. There's this language and then that language. And, she comes to school, she's hearing English. She comes to school, another teacher is speaking to her in German. And we as much as possible, we try not to switch. The main teacher who speaks English, the one who speaks German, we try as much as possible not to switch. Of course, sometimes we have to, but we try as much as possible to maintain that line. So if you come to me and you speak to me in German, I will reply you in English. If you come to the other teacher and you speak to her in English, she will reply you in German. Then when you go to get home and you're in your father's car and he's speaking to you in Arabic, you reply him in English, but he will continue speaking to you in Arabic. There's already something going on in the brain. There's already something going on in the cognitive capacity is opening up. The brain cells are opening up to different kinds of words. Now, she may not master Arabic. She may not be able to fluently speak Arabic, but she will understand it. At some point, if she wants to pick it up again, she will be able to learn it. When we speak about identity, the challenge with identity is that, again, we are not rooted. And that's why I set up an organization called Rooted and Planted. Agriculturists, they understand this thing. They call it, please help me. I'm not much of a science person, but please feel free to drop it in the comment section if I'm mixing it. They call it transplanting, or is it engrafting? Transplanting. For those of us, for children that are born here in Germany, it will be transplanting. For those who move into the system from maybe much older age, it will be engrafting. What happens? You have to be rooted in one first. When you're rooted in one first, then it is easy for you. You feel more confident. You have one first, and then you're able to go out. What happens in our African society is we are even ashamed to be called Africans. We are not happy and proud of where we are from. Yes, the challenges are inherent. They have sold us a lie. They have told us that we are difficult, we are black, we are, everything associated with black has become so sad. And even we ourselves are not happy with who we are. How then do we want to pass a sense of confidence, a strong identity to our own children? I want us as parents, as caregivers, to first of all reflect. To reflect about, every time we have conversations, somebody was putting into joke, put the name of our current president in the conversation. It's trauma bonding. That's all the negativity you see, everything. Meanwhile, there's beauty in Africa. There's so much beauty in Africa. We have challenges caused by not by our own nature, by our own doing. Yes, there are things that we could have done, we could have evolved. Yes, yes, yes. But root causes are not by our own making. Some people came and moved in and caused a lot of division, but there's still beauty. Have you seen videos about different parts of Africa? Have you gone to Rwanda, to Kenya, to South Africa? There's beauty in our culture. And so if we as Africans, if we as Nigerians, as Kenyans, as Ghanaians, don't even appreciate our culture, and not proud of who we are, how can we pass on a strong identity to our children? Like I said, we need to be rooted in one first. And when that is rooted first, transplanting becomes easier. What do I mean by becoming rooted first? Do we talk about our food, our language, our dressing, our people, the beauty of Africa? I have seen videos of children who talk about, who are going in depth into the map of Africa, and they're talking to their children about Africa, and they're showing them. We need to come back to those values. As Nigerians, as Africa, we need to make our homes the haven that children believe in themselves so much. It is almost impossible to tell them otherwise. It's almost impossible to deceive them, to derail them, to put them down. So yes, thank you for that point. It starts at home, because the truth of the matter, I'm not going to mince words with you. I'm not going to paint it black or white or whatever. The truth of the matter is out there. It is tough. Black children in Germany are going through it, and this is not about reports. These are things that I have seen, I am saying, I am trying to process as an educator, as somebody who works in the kindergarten environment, as somebody who has a child here, as somebody who is actively involved and trying to, contribute my own quota. The stories are appalling. The experiences and things that I see is terrible. So we have to make sure that our home is such a nest, is such a place that our children, there's this thing about that rock solid identity from the home, that it is impossible to tell them otherwise, because at home we have told them black is beautiful. At home we have told them your hair is the most beautiful thing anybody can talk about. Look, you give them examples, images, role models. I used to tell my sister, I used to tell anybody that is doing well is our cousin. I started saying it so much that my sister started believing that this popular guy in Arsenal, Saka, is actually our cousin. I'm telling you, because I said, that's our cousin. Oh, it's our cousin. Anyone who is doing well in some level, in some form, we role model, we put those images into them. We share, look, there's examples of people doing well. Don't believe the lie that Africa is all about those poor people, poor children. Yes, those are there, but there's so many other people thriving. There's Chimamanda, there's Bukai, there's Anthony Joshua. There's so many people. And even in the Black German community, you'll be shocked by the time you start doing your research to see that there's so many people that our children can also model. Do you understand? There's this girl, Yemisi Ogunleye, that she plays the handball. When you interviewed her, I was so impressed because her parents did an excellent job. First, she said, "Oh, I've been to Ibadan. I've been to my home state." I know that a lot of us see it as, it's so much money. Going home. No. They will catch me. Please, if you're a Christian, you pray, please go back home. After that, it's an investment. It is an investment. It is an investment. Going home is an investment. And if you don't have that physical connection, I'm so glad we work with the number of people that we have in Cottbus right now. We have a large community there. That is maximum opportunity to create our own solid network. Do you understand? If you can, please, let's take our children home. Let them see grandma, see grandpa, see auntie, see uncle, let them look. You cannot go home. It's not possible due to circumstances beyond your control. But we have phones. Every day, almost every other day. I have a system where, we speak to family members almost every other day. If anybody tells you on the playground that you are not, they don't want to play with you, when you come home, I will play with you. You're my friend. That is your friend. Auntie Lamide, Auntie Moji, Uncle Yosola, Auntie Tosin, Uncle Jide, Auntie Tommy, David, Mercy. They're all your friends. We are your friends. So it's okay if you don't want to play with. Do you understand? Do you see where I'm getting at? So yes, it has to start from home. Look, the truth of the matter is, I know it's challenging. I know we want to work as many jobs as possible. I know we want to make money. I know, but the reality that if we want to be successful at raising children with strong identities, raising our kids is our main job. It's our second job. And the earlier we start paying attention to it in the African community, in the Nigerian community, the better for us. I don't know if I have.
Thank you so much. In fact, that opening statement or the whole statement already masked a lot of questions that I have. Questions like when to introduce another language to a child, which you have already touched on, that speak as much as you can to them. They can take it. that they cannot be rooted in everything at the same time does not mean that they don't understand what you're saying, and then they will be able to build from it. But our topic for today is actually specific about language barriers. We know, even as adults, that we came here from, okay, like I said, we are talking about Germany. I don't know if majority of people here are in Germany, maybe except Rookie and it's Lord Mayor. Yeah, I
Ah,
think
Edward Mayor is a German.
he's also in Germany. Oh, I
He's in
didn't know.
Germany. Yeah,
Sorry,
sorry.
sorry. Maybe except Rookie. But for people that came from Nigerians, we are Nigerians, and we have to come to Germany, to a country where they don't even want to hear you. In fact, if you speak English to their ears, like those core Germans, the old ones especially, they will tell you immediately, go and learn German before you come back and talk, before you come back and talk to me. And these are sometimes our kids go to schools and they meet these people as educators. Lucky for you that you work in a multilingual school. I think in our last episode, the what's her name again? I've forgotten. Our speaker in episode 2 also, she also advised about sending our kids to multilingual school to be able to find identity and all of that, and that multilingual educators are kind of more lenient than maybe the public schools, or yeah. But I'll use myself as an example and my kids as an example, because there's a level of what do I call it now? There's a level of attention that is not given to a child because the child is not able to communicate their feelings in the language that is expected of the child to communicate their feelings. I understand that these kids are going to German schools and they are hearing this language, and most of them, because they are still young, we speak a different language at home. I don't think that it has to do with being rooted now. A lot of them might be rooted at home, but when they get to schools, they face this problem of not being able to communicate. This is basically what we're talking about. Like, how can what are the things that are put in place to be able to help these kids? Or do you think that there's going to be anything like an identity crisis when it comes to communication? You communicate properly at home and your parents understand you, but then you go to school and you are trying to talk to a teacher and the teacher does not understand in fact, there's going to be some sort of anger to it when you are trying to talk to somebody and the person is not understanding what you're saying, if you get what I mean. Especially with kids that want to talk, especially the ones that likes to express their feelings. So they're expressing and the person is not understanding what they're saying. What do you think that a child's language development, how is the role of identity? How is it being affected when it comes to the language development?
I hear you, and unfortunately and sadly, the educational system in Germany is not so and welcoming. I was at a meeting that one of our sisters here, Mrs. Miller, she invited Sister Tammy, she invited me, and
Yeah,
the
yesterday it
speaker
was,
yesterday admitted
yeah.
the same thing. That's why I said the honest truth is that it's not so welcoming. They don't. The system is created in a one-way traffic kind of way.
Mhm.
If you are not in, you are out. And once you are out, you are either advised to you become a special needs child, even though there's nothing wrong with you. The only challenge is that you're not yet underline yet in German. The teachers are not. A lot of them are very stuck in their ways. They are not open to other cultures. That is the unfortunate and sad reality. What can we do at home?
Yeah, it goes to my next question of how do you think that we can help the children to build self-confidence in that aspect? Like, I'm talking to this person and this person is not understanding me, probably because the person doesn't understand my language, probably because it could be any reason, but it's majorly because communication is a one-way street. Do you get? So how do you think that we can build self-confidence of kids in this aspect?
Like I said, so when we understand that reality, then we know that we are it's a battlefield, and so our approach will be, to put on all your defensive mechanisms.
Mhm.
If we have to hire, there's so many what they call these people, coaches, tutors, if we have to, because you know your reality, right? And this is part of adapting to a culture. This is the reality here. And my child needs to adapt. There's nothing wrong with my child. My child just needs to speak better. And so,
Mhm.
to be able to help, I will hire a tutor. I'll hire somebody who is fluent in in German, a
Mhm.
native speaker, to come 2-3 hours every day,
Mhm.
just conversing, talking, helping to speak. I would make efforts to socialize more outside of the school environment. I'm going to the playgrounds. I'm going to where the German kids are. I'm paying attention to those who please, can you help me mute?
Yes. Tammy, please mute. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're making effort to actively socialize. We're going to places and people. We as parents are deliberately making friends, not because we want to be friends like that, but we know where we're going because of our children. You know the things our mothers would do back then, just because of us, their children, and now we have a responsibility to do so for our children. Because of our children, you will organize the play date by yourself. The moment you see that your child has clicks, I mean, we're perceptive people. We're parents. When you're perceptive, you see, you notice, you're intuitive. You know, okay, this child and this child, they sort of bond. You are looking in your environment. Who is that friend that is open? Because unfortunately, not everyone will be open to play with your kids for several reasons, obvious challenges like we talked about. So pay attention to those people that are, that are listening and that are open to your child. Then in the system, the system also has trainings for our children. And see, the challenge with us Africans is that, and I'm guilty, I was also guilty. When you hear therapy, God forbid, it's not my portion. I bind it, my child is whole. Look, there's a problem here. Reality is here. We're not saying that our Bible, our Word of God, or Christianity, or whatever religion that you practice is not actually true. We're saying that your child needs help. You can push. You can write to you get down. You can. There are officials that there's provision for some of these things. You can go to a local pediatrician. Look, speak to your pediatrician. Look, I have identified that. Look, my child speaks fluently in English, but is struggling. There's a note they can give you that you can take to those people that speak that that will make it easier for you to get a speech therapist that would help you with the language development. There are also this before your child goes into big school. There's this opportunity for you to have this intensive language. Say, God forbid, it's not my portion. Or mommy is too busy because she's gone to work. Dad is also busy. So every time the child goes, she's late. Those are the challenges that we see. Do you understand? That is another fantastic opportunity for your child to be well rooted, to have experience with the language and try to speak it. I know that we say, oh, watch TV, and those things are good. Yes, I support it. Those things actually help. But at the same time, the best way to actually learn is to interact with human beings and have actual and real conversations. Now, another mistake that we make that I have seen, that I've noticed from my experience, is that the Germans, or I won't say the Germans, basically what I've seen happen is that children start as early as possible. I mean, there are two sides to these things, but just this is just my observation. The children start kita as early as, say, 1 year, right? So, that time they're not really talking much, but they're maybe communicating with signs, with they're talking just a little bit. But going every day, over time, the language capacity begins to develop. And then by the time they are 3, it gets better and better and better. Remember, I said they are developing brains. Because they're not able to speak fluently now, does not mean they will not eventually get it. But what I have noticed, please feel free to share your own experience and maybe I can speak to it. But what I've noticed is some of us send our children maybe too late. So by the time they get into the system, there are people that have gone 20 miles ahead of you. And so it becomes difficult, to get in the language due to no fault of ours. Yeah. One, you're trying to look for a place. They keep telling you there's no place, there's no place, there's no place. Do you see what I mean? Like, it is really a brutal system. I know people who had to wait, and these are migrants as well, who had to wait until their children were 3, 4 before they got into kindergarten. What then happens is there's already a major huge gap, because those who have been in the system have already learned so many things. They're already defending themselves in the language. They're already protecting their territory. They're saying this is mine, that is mine, 9. They're already fighting and defending themselves, communicating confidently. And then your child comes in at 3 or at age 4, and then wants to come into the system, and you think that, oh, everything, it will not happen that way. So for me, what I would recommend is, if you need to do intensive work in the background, please do it. If you need to hire a tutor, please do it, because of the reality of our environment. And then there are provisions in the system that allows you to get access to speech therapy, that allows you to request for support for your child. Those things exist, but we need to do it because it differs per state, per local government. Well, if we are allowed to say that, it differs per community, but those resources exist. And when we deploy, when we find them, then we can use them, and then we can access them and also help our children. I wanted to say something now, but it just skipped my mind. But if I remember it again, I would help. I don't know if that's sort of.
Thank you so much. I like the way you're just touching on all of my next questions. Like, you have actually just answered everything. Thank you, because I was initially going to ask about your opinion or suggestions about tools that are available for kids, even for adults, because I think we also that are not able to properly speak the language, we are supposed to take it from the base like
Yeah,
that, like
yeah.
learn
So,
with them. Do you
sorry,
get?
sorry to cut you short. I wanted to
Yeah.
say that some of us already have basics of the language, right?
Mhm.
We're not fluent. We're not speaking at the native speaker level, but you
I
know,
want to also cut you short.
yes.
Sorry. I want to ask a question in that regard. Like, are you also of the school of thought that we should speak, even though our German language is not that good? Maybe some of us have the B2 level German on paper, B1 plus level speaking kind of. Do you feel like we are also supposed to contribute to the language development of our kids by speaking to them at the level that we know? For not forgetting the fact that it is possible that we can speak the wrong German to them. Do
Yeah.
you get like yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. I'm not going to give exact direct answers because every situation is different, but this is my reflection and my own strategy. I know that I am not fluent in this language, but my child needs this language. But I know I can identify basic things that I know that my child will need in kindergarten. Basic things. So tables, chairs, spoon, cups, simple sentences. It is mine, it is yours. No, stop, come, go, sit down, don't do that. Those simple things. We can't, this is my personal, this is not professional speech therapy advice. We can introduce those things. We have flashcards because this is because we have an idea of the language. Now, I'm not saying that we should now start intense structure sentences like they teach us in our class when we go for German language lessons. No, what I'm saying is, you know that there are certain sentences that your child actually needs on the playground. Your child needs to be able to defend him or herself. You need to be able to say, nine, that is mine. No, your child needs to be able to, that playground negotiation is so key. So if you don't do anything, at least you see that playground, you need to as many words as possible. Simple, I want to eat, I want to play, I want to drink water, I want to there are books that help in German where they even attach the article. Do you understand? So those simple things, yes, I would say that. And playfully, while you're going on a walk with your child, you can introduce those words. It helps to have those, at least those basics. And that's actually what I wanted to say. That yes, we have a bit of the language. Those basics can be introduced a little here, a little there, so that by the time they then get into that environment, I'm talking now. Please understand my context. I'm talking about children who are 2, 3, 4 thereabouts, 2, 3 thereabouts. You can't do so much damage there to introduce those basic words. Now there are different ways that we can actually introduce language to our children. There is the one parent, one language method, where you say, I speak English, your daddy speaks Yoruba, and don't worry about, they say this thing about that they will pick the language when they get to school. It's actually, in many cases that I have seen, and from my experience, it's actually true. They actually really do pick this. I get feedback now from about different children that I work with, and they say, this child is really speaking a lot. It's really speaking. And at home, the child probably doesn't have that much rich language exposure in that language. And that's why I reiterated again that we should pay attention to our own culture, what we can control, what we can focus on, what you can control. So there is the one parent, one language method, where one parent speaks one language, daddy speaks English, mommy speaks Yoruba, or daddy speaks Ghanaian, mommy speaks English, and then in school they learn the German. Then there is the method where you say, for different scenarios, and this is where introducing German a bit can come in. In different situations, we would use different languages. So maybe when we are eating, we'll try to use a bit of German. When we are playing, doing regular stuff at home, we will speak in Yoruba. But when we are taking our bath, we will speak in English. Like I said, I know it seems overwhelming. It looks overwhelming. What we are doing is laying the foundation for your child to be able to learn and, get better understanding of the language at a much later stage. It is us to us that it feels overwhelming. But to them, we are helping them, like I said, open those pathways. I see some questions I don't know if you
Yeah.
what else.
From Team Ele at Lord Mayor. He asked, how are the decisions made when referring a child to speech therapist? Yes. And why isn't more time allowed for natural developmental growth before making such referrals?
The system is not patient.
Yes.
That is the truth. The
Oh, yeah.
system is wired to a one straight jacket way. If you are, we are all on a straight line. That is how it is from my experience. Everybody's on a straight line. The moment you are slightly different, you attempt, you have ADHD, you have autism. Look, I'm telling you things that I am presently handling.
From
Unfortunately,
experience.
unfortunately, our African Nigerian families, we are doing so much damage and it hits me, it hurts me. We have no routines with our children. Let's tell ourselves the truth. We have no routines with our children. We give them everything and it's really annoying. It is upsetting. I am angry because it then further perpetuates the idea and the notion that we are from the bush, that
Anyhow, people.
we are wild people. We have no routines for our children. And let me tell you, I am not trying to castigate and say I'm more superior. I learned the hard way. Like I told you at the beginning, I also had speech challenges with my son. So I learned the hard way. And every time I see it over and over again. We have no routines with our children. We give them whatever they want. They are on the tap 24/7. Science has said it. It's tough. We want to work. We have bills to pay. I understand this absolutely. Trust me, there are people in the home country calling our attention. But like I said again, you see these children, they are our most important. When they used to say that proverb, I used to be so upset and so angry. What do you mean by they are our most important work? Hey, I have my life to live. Sis, if you want to save yourself the stress, please go back to Nigeria. I do not say this out of disrespect. I'm telling you because our children are suffering. Our children are being misdiagnosed. Our children are going through traumatic experiences in the classroom that they cannot come back home because they have limited words to explain it. They don't even understand what is going on. It's only some of us that can see what is going on. We don't have routines. We don't have table sitting structure. So mommy wants to work, daddy is working, and then we say, just take the tab. And then the child stays on the tab for hours and hours and hours. What is happening to the brain? That period, that 2 to 3, that they are supposed to be words on the playground, in the museum, in the parks. We're supposed to be talking. Before the child asks, water, take water. Before the child says, what do you want? You need to try. Then the child starts saying, more. Then the child starts saying, what, basa. That period that child is supposed to be learning, we have overstimulated the brain. And so when the brain is overstimulated, unfortunately, when they go outside, then they start throwing tantrums. And then you look like the bad mother who doesn't know how to train their children. This is what is actually happening. Our eating habits, the sugar we're giving our children, carbohydrate, morning, afternoon, evening, night, from pregnancy. You see the difference? From the time these other cultures have their children in the womb, they're eating fish, they're eating olive this, they're eating bio this, they're eating bio that. What do? We're taking ice cream, sugar, you're doing, carbohydrate, rice, amala. We're not even considering that there's something, the nutrients that the children need. When we come, there's a lot of sugar in the body and the child is explosive. Then we have a problem. So my brother, I don't know if you can see, so, and there's no patience. Look, the system is stressed. The teachers don't have time, don't have the patience. They are not like the teachers in Nigeria. Koribe is not, sorry, I don't know if everybody's on the side that speaks Yoruba, but our, forget it, it's not here. Our warm community training, motherly, there's nothing like that. Here in Germany, if you do not put it in your child, don't ever expect it to come out because the school will not train your child. The system is not wired to train your child. You are the one that will train your child. If you want your child to read, a lot of us want our children to read, in school, they'll be playing all through till they're age 5, age 6. They're not reading, all they're doing is playing. But you know that your child needs to start learning, at least to be able to read, understand basic. My sister, you are going to have to do, my brother, because the dads, I also want to speak to the dads as well. We are also going to be doing the work at home. Dads, we cannot afford to leave it to mamas in this particular system. It has to be a collaborative work. Do you understand? Reading books. There's just so much going on in the system. So I don't know if you understand now. The system is not allowed. It's not patient. The structure, the system is stretched. The teachers are impatient. They are not warm. They are not kind. Fact on fact. 10 out of 10, 8 teachers, 2 out of only 8, sometimes 1 out of 10, before you find one person who will go the extra mile, who would be patient enough to say, let's give him time. I was fortunate enough to find a place that gave my son time. And I was telling Dami shortly before some weeks ago, before we had this meeting, my son is talking, playing, speaking, everything normal. He needed time. But the system does not give that time. And this developmental process is, science tells us that it is normal. You're learning 2 different languages at the same time. It doesn't affect speech delay, but there's so much going in the brain, it takes a little more time for them to start speaking those words. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, yes, this, like I said, the system is not patient, it's not kind, it is brutal. I'm telling you the fact. The moment, and unfortunately, again, the teachers in this system are powerful. They are powerful. If a teacher says this child has autism, this child is this child needs therapy, the head of school is almost, because the head of school is not in the classroom. The teacher is the one in the classroom, and the teacher doesn't want anybody that will give her stress or him stress. So the moment they cite your child is giving them stress, that's the end from day one. I know I have experiences where black children come into the system from day one. They're ready to reject. The only person who gave that child a chance was the head of school. Let's give the child 6 months. Let's give the child, at least, let's even do 6 months and see. What happens after 6 months? They're talking, they're communicating, they're playing. But how many schools do you have? So, like I said, I mean, we really need to if we want to thrive in this system, we're going to have to put in the work. There's work to be done. You're going to have to coach your child at home. You're going to do extra work. If your child is and this is not even just about us, even Africans. Even the Germans are stressed about it because the journey to gymnasium, everybody wants their child to go to gymnasium. The journey to gymnasium has started at age 4. Unconsciously, you don't know. By the time they enter grade 1, they have extra. Mother is not working. Everything they are doing, they are taking the extra shit, extra on that indirectly, because by the stratification starts very, very early. So, my brother, the system is not nice. In your opinion, which would you recommend for a child to aid speech development, target muta or kindergarten? Well, honestly, if you can find a reliable, warm, trusted target muta, I would say that we can check that method. I understand the sentiments about target muta because from our culture, you don't want to keep your child with somebody you don't know. You are wondering, like, this system is new to us. I understand that. But if you have done all your background checks and you are sure that this place, your child also, your child communicates to you when they get to that environment that this place is safe for me, I think we should consider target muta. If we can, the kindergarten that we choose, if we can, let it not be the ones that are free for all, where you have all the ages, all the age groups together. It doesn't help them. It does, because with all that we have said, we clearly see that our children need time. They will catch up. Nigeria know they carry last. If you're not a child of God, whichever of the gods you're talking about, we don't carry. It's not possible. Check it. Any Nigerian anywhere, we beat the system. It is in our DNA. We have the brains, we have the physique, we have the energy, we have everything it takes to thrive. What we need is time to adjust, to adapt, to understand the system. And before you say, Jack, we are thriving. But we need to put in the work. We need that support system to put in.
Thank you so very much. We are way past our 30 minutes scheduled time that we're already 30 minutes behind. I would like to ask if I was kind of enjoying the routine talk a little too much, and I was waiting for you to give us more, but because of our time, maybe I'll text you back about it. Do we have any other person that has a question? You can unmute your mic, or like others did, you can also type it in the text, but it's even better to unmute the mic so that we can hear your sweet voice. If you have any question, please unmute your mic and ask. Okay, they can stop. Mr. Kunle, go ahead.
Yes, please, it's me. I just wanted
Okay.
to mention that I think another point of view concerning going to the Spielplatz playground. I've been in a situation where you want your child to play on the playground, but because it's maybe a German kid that is also there, you try to like tell your child, don't go too close, or maybe sorry, I spoke Yoruba. Like I don't want to have issues, or maybe because as the parent you can also not speak German, you cannot communicate fluently. You find it a little bit difficult to allow your child play with the other person's child because you cannot make conversations or anything with the parents. Then you just be doing one sheepish smile like that, sheepish smile like that, and then both of you are just looking at each other like, okay. I feel like the language is not only, this language barrier thing is not only for our children, but maybe ourselves too. We need to get better so that we can be, because I realize that a lot of Germans are actually very friendly. You just need to be able to communicate with them. If you cannot communicate with them, you'll be just doing dry talks, and it will just not work for your child as well. It will disturb your child's self-esteem as well. So maybe just to chip in that we need to get better as well as parents.
Absolutely, I agree. And the honest truth is that a lot of them actually understand English.
Good.
So what I do for them, I start with a little bit of my German, then I load it up with English. That's what I do. I observed over time, they actually understand that language. It's just that they don't want to speak
Not
it.
confident
They're not confident in, which is what we too are experiencing, right?
With German
So
language.
with German as well. So, just show a little bit of effort. So maybe before you go to the Spielplatz, you already have some sentences, you have your Google ready to speak, And part of adapting is letting the children play. If the child is responsive and if the parent is responsive. Of course, there are situations where the parent doesn't want to touch you, they think you are from, that's okay. You take your child and move on, right? They are the ones that have lost. But if you see that the parents are welcoming, the child is welcoming, allow them to play. It's okay. But don't forget to also start talking to your child about you have to respect your other people's properties, boundaries. That's very key on the playground. You will not take my toy and say, I force my child to share with you. No, they will not do that. Best case scenario, carry everything that you think your child will need on the playground so that your child also has his or her own and all of that. Yeah. So yes, we also need to learn the language.
Thank you.
Hi,
Tosin,
Lola.
yes, please go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Just
Oh, Rookie, I was waiting to hear your voice.
hi, Lola.
Okay,
I'll let
let
Tosin go then
Tosin
once
go
he's done.
first. Yes, please.
Yeah.
After Tosin. Tosin. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ma, for the insights and for everything you have said. So, though I don't have any question, I just want to like contribute a little bit with what she's saying about like child communicating and taking child to the place class to play and to communicate with people. So while she was talking, I was now like trying to remember there was a time somebody told me about family centrum
Yeah,
that
family
in
and central.
in, in all the kita, there's always a family centrum whereby the family, the mother and the child, they can come in the evening to speak with other families, and their child can also play. So and since last year, I also started something like that. Though my baby is not even up to 1 year, but I normally go around 3 in the afternoon till 6 p.m. and they have sections for kids. My kid that is not even up to 1 year, she has a place that she can play. They have so many toys there and they have so many kids that they can speak with, they can talk with in family centrum. So I think it's in every area. It's just that most of us don't even know about it. So an example is also like Caritas too. They have something like that, and it's in groups. They have age groups. They have so many places that kids can play. It's not even necessary to take the kids to speed class. You can take them to the family centrum. They will like mingle with kids that are their age and they will be talking together. I have a family that comes from Ghana and it's just up to a year that they moved to Germany here. The kid is just 5 years old when they moved to Germany, and now the boy can speak German. Like I was even surprised that how can he be able to, because they take him to the family centrum like every day. Even the mother when she did her exam for B1, she passed it like straightforward. She passed the exam because there are families, those Arabic families, those that comes from Turkey, they chat together even as they are not really good in speaking, but because they are speaking every day, so it's really helps. So we can also like, I don't know, ask in our area, ask the kita where there's family centrum, and I think that will also help too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tosin, for that very valid point. You're absolutely right. There's also what we call there's a gym. I can't remember the right name right now, but it's every community actually also has it where you can go play with toys. It's a gym. It's for strength training, sports, and all of that. I actually also, when we were waiting for a place for a kindergarten place, we used to go there every Tuesdays and Thursdays where you play with other kids. And actually, we met one or two people who we connected with, and we were able to actually make conversations and play dates and all of that. So yes, I actually support that. There's also they check around their gyms, their communities, their baby groups. As soon as a child is born, you can take them as early as 6 months. They're playing with softball, soft this, and so yes, those things exist. We have to do the work to actually set out those information and are available to us in our community. So yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, Tosin, we'll need more information about that family centrum. Maybe type it in the chat, the address or something in the city where you are, Cottbus, I presume. So we'll have Rookie.
Oh, hi, thank you, Lola. Thank you very much, speaker. It was really insightful seeing from a different perspective what it is like to be like an immigrant or raising a child in a different society where you're from. I am based in the UK, and even though they speak English here, it's quite sometimes it can be very difficult because you get to realize that the way they pronounce their words is different from the way we pronounce our words.
Accent.
And yes, not even the accents,
Yeah.
like their
Just
phonetics are
the
quite
original
yeah, the
English.
original English. And it's funny because sometimes when I say something, my son will be like, "No, mommy, that's not the way to say it. You have
Yeah.
to say this."
Yeah.
And unlike Germany, where it's like a um um straight cut for everybody, I think I appreciated the fact that when my son started school, they were like, "Oh, speak language to him at home. When he comes to school, he's going to pick it up." And my son has a friend who is Asian and couldn't speak English, and his mom too couldn't speak English. Anytime we see a school, we just use head, hand, and then because my son is friends with the mom, somehow I have to be friends with the mom because the mom keeps making conversation with me and it's quite hard understanding. So what I just do now is I try to say, oh, is this what you're trying to see? And she goes, oh, yes, that's why. And the reason why I try to engage with her is because I do not want to impact the relationship my son has with her son. So that's just to say, Darren, do not try to stop your sons or your daughter from playing in the park. Allow them mingle. It helps them build confidence. And I cannot even agree more with the speaker that said, parents, we have a lot of role to play for the kids. My son just turned 4 recently, and there's this like an after school lesson that he goes to. It's called Common, and I think the way they learn is by visuals. So they give him this assignment in English, and they're like, okay, read this to him, and then cover it, and then let him read. And then you get to see that he is picking it up, like he's picking it up, he's picking the phonetics up, and that goes to the point where the speaker says we need to put in the effort. Because I have friends that'll be like, why are you letting him start Common? He's just 2. Why is he starting Common? But you can see the difference when we go for PTAs or whatever. Oh my God, your son is this, your son is that. Do you do anything in school? We always say no because we have this Nigerian community that say, don't tell them in school that your child is going to lesson. No, if not, they'll stop focusing. Stop focusing on him. They'll be like, oh, really? He's doing this. You should be proud. You're the teacher. He comes home. He teaches us. Nobody needs to know he goes to Common. So even if we're playing our own part, and since for the people living in Jam, you already know that it's a straight line. It's a straight cut for everybody. I think we as parents, we have a role to play. And like the speaker said, Nigeria, we know they carry last. Just give us the right opportunity, give us the right training, and we will actually excel. So it was really insightful. Thank you, Kule. Thank you, speaker. I learned a lot from this session. That's what I just really wanted to say.
Thank you. I was already feeling like, oh, Rookie is not feeling left out in this conversation, but
I know, right? I'm the only alien here.
I'm happy. I'm happy that you found it very interesting. Do we, before we run away, sorry to everyone, we have taken too much of your time already. Do we have any other question in
I
2
just want to
minutes?
quickly add to what Ricky said.
Okay.
That part of the work at home, it is so, so important. We must understand that we are dealing with a system that is not necessarily
For
welcoming, friendly to not just us, to other cultures. It's not about us. It's not about us. It's just how the system is. So the earlier we realize that, put on all your thinking strategies to help your child in English, in German, in whatever way possible. Do you understand? I mean, of course, we're not going to overwhelm our children, but the moment you notice that your child is interested in this, shows interest in this, wants to do this, please support it. There's music school. There's no reason why our children should not be swimming, going to music school. All of these things have a way of building their confidence. You just see that a child who was shy, because child can swim, goes to school and say, I can swim. I know how to swim. And then that becomes the topic of conversation everything. I'm going to swimming classes on Saturday. Do you understand? You see that it builds confidence. You notice the child is interested in music. Please find a music school. It will cost you a little money, but please find it. Let them go. It will cost you time. But what you're doing is investing. If you see that the child is interested in STEM, it's always constructing. Please find that STEM club. 1 hour. You can develop the STEM club by yourself. Create it yourself. There's so many things that we have to learn for our children, and I know that we can do it. We just need to put in the work.
Thank you so much. Tosin is dropping all the gems in the chat as well. For people in Cottbus, I think she already dropped the address to the one in Cottbus. Thank you so much to our speaker. Thank you. I know we said 30 minutes, but we are far past 30 minutes. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. I mean, an hour, 12 minutes already. We really appreciate your presence here and all the nuggets that you have dropped. Thank you so much. I knew that it was going to be a very, very insightful session, and I look forward to it. And I'm very happy that it happened this way. I'm sure that everybody is saying thank you
You too.
for the
Thank you
insights. So thank
too.
you very much for being here. And to all the participants as well, thank you for taking out time. I know some people are supposed to be sleeping already and all of that, but yeah, thank you very, very much. We are going to be having the last episode of this topic next week, Friday. Please do well to join episode 4 on this topic of raising Black kids in diaspora. Thank you very much. The session is going to be uploaded on YouTube on Monday evening at 5 p.m. For people that maybe missed a part of it, you can rewatch. For maybe you want someone that you know to hear this very insightful session, send it to them. It's going to be on YouTube, and we also have an Instagram page that you can follow to be able to see short videos from this session as well. Please follow Miss Mo. She has a YouTube channel. Miss Mo, please tell us everything that we need to support you with. Everything. Pata, pata.
My YouTube channel, Scripture Time with Miss Mo, it's on YouTube. I'll share the link so that it can be shared with the community.
Please
I have
do.
books on Amazon. I have another one. I think the new one coming is the one that I want every family to buy. It's about values, the values in our home.
You heard it
And
here
I'm sure
first.
that, sorry?
I said you heard it here first.
Yes, you heard it here first. So that one is coming out soon. Look out for it. I'll share the links when it's out. But I'm sure that it's a book that will help you teach values to your children as well. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for everyone that participated tonight. Here we will be drawing the curtains, and yeah, bye to everyone. Good
Bye.
night.
Thank